page 158, the content of this email says, the BAC reports related to the above-mentioned case was presented to the BAC today being the 18th of September 2025. The following were raised and the report could not be approved as such. The BAC requested the following. 1. Confirmation that the matter of the annual financial statement was cleared as the AFS are present in the tender document as presented in the BAC. 2. The BAC indicated that whereas most of the bidders were inspected in the presence of the Probity team, Ms. Mira was the first to be inspected on the first day prior to Probity team forming part of the BEC delegation. The BEC further states that the 5-ton truck was there, whilst the Probity says it was not. Please confirm the date that the inspection at this bid was carried out so as to reconcile. Basically what this says, Chair, is the first component is clear. You need to verify whether you've seen the financial statements as we have seen. This is BEC. Secondly, BEC says we went out on our own, we found the truck. You go out, you say you did not find the truck. You then go out again and you find it. Please confirm that now. Please confirm your third process where you validate that the bidder was carried out so as to reconcile, meaning so that the BEC and the Probity team are able to reconcile. Further to that, Chair, on 161, 3.4, initially, due to the erroneous disqualification at stage 1, bidder 2 was not evaluated for stage 3. This is the external party confirming and giving a statement. We did not evaluate them any further because they did not qualify past stage 1. However, they state, Chairperson, that it was erroneously stated in our report that bidder 2 did not have a 5-ton truck. So if you split that in line with the sequence of events, they're confirming that 1, they disqualified them on stage 1 due to the inability to find the annual financial statements. They further go and say they themselves did not evaluate them further on stage 3. However, they say that they stated that they were erroneously, that the bidder did not have a 5-ton truck. So there are 3 instances that are occurring here. And the Probity team is confirming that they did not look at it, 1. Secondly, they made an error where they are saying that this bidder did not have a 5-ton truck, whereas there was a 5-ton truck. Thank you.
And then at that last BAC meeting, after receiving confirmation from the Probity consultants that their concerns have been addressed, the BAC awards the tender, recommends the award of the tender.
Yes.
So that is the effective chronology of the official processes relating to tender TMPD 1 of 24-25. But there are other processes that are going on behind the scenes, and it's to those that I want to turn now. And the first non-official process that we see is in a WhatsApp from you to Sergeant and Corsi on the 26th of February 2025. And that appears in file 3 at page 133. It will be your bundle 3, page 133. And sorry, Mr. Mnisi, in relation to all of these references, I'll refer to file 3 and file 4, but they're in the same document, electronic document that you have, which is bundle 3. So if we then go to page 133, do you have it?
Yes, I've got it, Chair.
And you'll see at the foot of the page, and sorry, before we get to the details, due to a failure to change a software setting, all of these chats between you and Mr. Nkosi are in what is called UTC, which is 2 hours behind South African time. So when there's a time in a chat between you and Sergeant Nkosi, you need to add 2 hours to it. To complicate matters further, the chats between Sergeant Nkosi and Deputy Chief Dlamini did have the software setting changed, so they are in South African time. But if you see at the bottom of page 133, on the 26th of February, with a timestamp 9:45:50 a.m., which actually means 11:45:50, you ask Sergeant Nkosi, who is Sipho Nkomo or Joe Mabunda from TMPD? You see that?
I see that, Chair.
Why did you ask Sergeant Nkosi who Sipho Nkomo and Joe Mabunda were?
Okay. Thanks, Chair. For this instance, we're sitting in engagement. Within this engagement, I was aware that these two individuals are responsible for VIP services for the city. At one point in time, Chair, the individual, Mr. Sipho Nkomo, with his colleague, I think from my perspective, unceremoniously removed my VIP security without explaining to me any details. Nonetheless, it was okay. We proceeded as is, and I needed to ensure they got in a positive way. One, we're able to plan accordingly. Two, we reduce irregular expenditure that is incurred by the city. But Chair, I think I will break down further within my statement on that particular tender and what actually transpired in each of the events where the extensions were considered by the BAC.
Mr. Mnisi, just to understand the sequence of the process. So the BC does its evaluation.
Yes.
And then they have a report. Is it at that point that probity is brought in?
Yes.
The probity authority is brought in at that point?
Yes.
Appointed by the city manager?
Yes, and the Chief Audit Executive.
And the chief?
Chief Audit Executive.
Okay. And then where does the probity report serve once it's done?
Once it's done, it's presented to the BEC. The findings
Yes.
are presented and deliberated at the BEC.
Okay.
They are given an opportunity to make the necessary corrections. Once consensus has been reached between probity team and the BEC, then it's served to the BAC for further consideration.
Okay. So where you've had to return as a BAC, you've had to return a report or a process to the BEC to address the probity concerns. What does it mean for the process that you've described? Does it mean the BEC did not address the concerns in the probity report but simply submitted to the BAC and you then said, but you haven't addressed this? I'm trying to understand the process as you explain it. This is how it's supposed to happen and what in fact would have happened in the situation that you explained to us, that you've had to turn it back.
Indeed, Chair, you are spot on. That's exactly what it means. It means BAC is identifying a notable difference between the final probity report and the BEC report. In this case, it was as a result of bid number 2, Vimsira Security Services, where that bid, from a probity perspective, said, nope, the irregularities here, you shouldn't award this. BAC says, no, we have had our interaction with the probity team. We have cleared this. But at BAC, they're not providing us with conclusive evidence that that has been dealt with accordingly. At BAC, we are sitting in front of us with the BEC report and the probity report. The probity report still indicates deficiencies within bid number 2. Hence, we refer that back for there to either be an official confirmation in the form of an addendum or a confirmation report from probity that indeed we had a discussion with BEC. We are now convinced that bidder number 2, Vimsira Security Services, for an example, is now compliant and should be awarded. They could have came back, Chair, and said, no, this bidder should not have been awarded. We maintain our stance that we did not confirm 1, 2, and 3 issues, which means the BAC must ensure correction. Probity report, as part of our internal controls, is authoritative in nature. Unless you've got substantive reasons to differ with that, then we'll allow that. Otherwise, Chair, the third-party confirmation is superior from all quarters of the accounting fraternity. The Auditor General relies on a third-party confirmation. This is a third-party confirmation that I would rather place my reliance on than an internal report as well.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to get right in my head is where Probity, the Probity Authority has said, this bidder should not have been recommended because they did not submit 3 years audited financials. And then that's one. 2, this bidder should not have been should not have been recommended because they do not have a 5-ton truck. Those 2 fact-based statements. When it goes back, when that report goes to the BAC, when you say as BAC, let this go back to the BAC to consider what in fact is the BAC to do with it? Do they approach the bidder and say, give us 3 years audited financial statements? Do you now have a 5-ton truck? And then come back to you and say, oh, now they are compliant? Or how exactly is the BAC to fix those two issues that are specifically flagged by Probity?
Thanks, Commissioner. In this case, the BEC was confident that all those non-compliant documents were there. They were confident, hence they say to BAC, we have met this, we are certain that 3-year financial statements and confirmation of a 5-ton truck is available. BAC then says, but that's not what Probity report says, so you go find each other with the Probity report. Meaning, you either come back with an amended Probity report signed by the external individual confirming what you are inferring to. If not, we will not move on with the recommendation of this bidder. That brings us now, Chair, to the next item on GM19, which will touch on it as well. So what happens now, Chair, I'm going to go back